presentation of HBO Sports.
Hello again, I'm Jim Lampley. On June 7th, HBO pay-per-view brings you a thrilling matchup between two of boxing's biggest stars, as Miguel Cotto takes on Sergio Martinez for Martinez's middleweight title in New York's Madison Square Garden. The Garden has long been considered Miguel Cotto's home away from home, as the Puerto Rican star has racked up 7 wins in 8 fights in that prestigious venue, including the most satisfying fight of his career, a 2011 revenge bout against Antonio Margarito. In 2008, Cotto had lost their first matchup after the bloodied fighter took a knee in the 11th round for the first loss of his career. Just 6 months later, Margarito was caught with plaster in his hand wraps before a fight with Shane Mosley, raising questions about his career achievements and most specifically about his brutal stoppage of Miguel Cotto. Ultimately, Margarito received a 1-year suspension for his actions, but that penalty didn't deprive Cotto of the rematch he so richly deserved. Let's go back to December 3, 2011 in Madison Square Garden to see how I called it with Max Kellerman and Emmanuel Stewart.
Caballeros, entienden las reglas. Todo bien, tocan las manos. Tocan, por favor. Tocan las manos. Tocan, come on, Antonio. Touch his gloves, Antonio. Good, now you go. Now you go. Get the fuck out of here.
Revenge or repeat?
The witching hour in New York. The rematch was scheduled for December 3. It takes place on December 4. By Cotto. Hand speed difference should be immediately apparent as it was in the first fight. Cotto lands a combination, steps away.
I think Miguel is intending to fight the entire fight this way, by boxing, moving, changing directions, taking advantage of the slower foot and hand speed of Margarito.
And staying away from the ropes.
Staying away and being prepared to go 12 good rounds if you have to.
If he can fight the entire fight in the center of the ring, that will make it significantly different than the last time when Margarito was able, increasingly throughout the fight, to savage him against the ropes. Who has the technical advantages, Emmanuel?
Definitely Miguel Cotto has a technical advantage. He's got better hand speed, better power, better combinations, better foot speed, and he had a brilliant amateur background on top of that.
Who do you think has the emotional advantage, Emmanuel?
Well, if the fight goes on, it'll be a pretty tough fight later on. It's definitely got to be with Margarito because he mentally himself really does not respect Miguel at all. He really feels that he can break Miguel down physically and mentally. And he's often referred to him in doing the pre-fight interviews as he's going to make him cry. He's going to break him down. You're still a baby.
The question's going to be as this fight wears on, if Margarito keeps smiling and walking through Cotto's punches, what happens then?
Right hand, and Cotto was short with the uppercut, but he landed the straight right. Crowd is so anxious to erupt every time Cotto does something good that they may, for a while at least, distort their view of what's going on in the fight. With a good combination for Miguel, and he backs away.
Miguel on his toes a little bit more now, but Emmanuel, does it seem to you that Cotto's throwing with a little more authority in this rematch so far than he did early in their first fight?
Actually, he's fighting a lot like he did the first fight, to be honest with you. He's moving a lot, landing flashy combinations. Margarito's putting a lot of pressure on the shield. And Margarito just slower with it. His foot speed is just too slow, I think. And Miguel is getting away with it, but I don't know if he can continue to do this because Margarito is stepping up his pace right now.
So far, a lot like the first round.
Very much like the first fight. When it appeared that Cotto had the advantages, in round one.
Why don't you keep doing that? Keep pressing. Lateral, side to side. Don't go walking in straight. Side to side, going in. But build. Pressure. Risk a little bit. Pressure. Want some water? A little bit.
Mira, Tony. Cerradito. Ok, campeón. Vamos allá. Muy bien.
Okay, Chad, very good.
Ahí dale agua.
Water.
Igual.
The same thing.
Ahí, tranquilo.
Same thing like you did.
Dándole vuelta y no te
Relax.
paras dentro del
Turn him and don't
centro del
Don't stand still. In the
Okay.
middle of the ring.
Vuelta o te paras
Turn
dentro
him.
del ring, ok?
Don't stand still. All right. Go. Let's go.
CompuBox numbers in round one. Cotto 19 out of 48. Margarito only 8 out of 51. Cotto with the 10 3-edge and power shots landed, at least by CompuBox vision. But their view of the fight, Cotto had the advantages in round one. Harold Letterman saw that too.
Cotto clearly won the round. He won the battle. The question is, can he sustain it and win the war?
Emmanuel, one thing that Antonio Margarito could do better in this fight, particularly in the early rounds, would be to cut off the ring.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing I've been impressed with by Margarito. He seems to be picking and punches off and a lot sharper than I expected. I thought he would have been much slower than he is, but he seems to be boxing better. Seems like the training he's had with Garcia has improved his boxing skills.
Cotto blocking Margarito's right hand with his left. Good left hook by Cotto, and that landed under the eye, not on it. A lot of people are wondering how will Margarito's right eye stand up to punishment. Hard right hand by Cotto. Now, you say he doesn't throw the right hand well, Emmanuel.
No.
Does it lack impact?
Well, he had a serious operation on his right shoulder, and it took about 5 months rest, so his right hand is improved.
He's doing a serious operation on Margarito's face right now.
Cotto is a natural southpaw, one of many in the sport who fights from a conventional stance. His strong hand is the left hand in front.
Which he used to throw to the body like no one else, but's gotten away from that in recent years.
Another good left hook by Cotto. So far, 4 minutes in, Miguel Cotto has not touched the ropes. That's very important.
He's fighting a very smart fight. He just got to be in good condition, prepared to go 12 rounds at this pace.
Another good combination by Cotto. Crowd is warming up. Margarito lands an uppercut from distance. That's his best punch. Lands it again, but to Cotto's chest, not to his head. Cotto retaliates with a 3-punch combination, lands a couple of jabs, continues to move. This is a high-energy fight. It's going to take stamina to fight it. Margarito's stamina is legendary.
And so far, Cotto's still giving ground like he did in the first fight.
Yes, he is. He's doing a lot of the same things he did in the first fight.
Shane Mosley did more of what Cotto just did, which is push Margarito back, force him back, lock him up and walk him back to break his forward momentum.
Cotto's not as quick as Shane Mosley. Maybe doesn't feel the same confidence in his ability to attack Margarito.
Shane Mosley's also unusually physically strong.
That's the closest Cotto's come to the ropes in 2 rounds, but it was another very effective round punching for Miguel Cotto.
Close your eyes? No.
Ok, mira, Tony. Para lado derecho lo estás dejando ir muy fácil. Para lado izquierdo del
Tony,
lado derecho lo estás dejando ir.
you're letting let the right go.
Para este lado.
And cut off to this side, okay? You're following him.
Córtele.
Cut him off.
Ya empezó a apretar. Ya empezó. Ok, ya empezaste a pegar. ¿Me quieres agüita? Ok, no te quedes parado.
Don't
Dale
stay still.
vuelta.
Turn
El
him.
5 con el 2.
Turn him, the
El 5
5.
con el 2. Cuando
The
entre
5
con
with the 2.
el
When he comes
candado
in,
y lo agarra.
lock him up.
No dejes que trabaje en
Don't
medio.
let him work in the middle.
Here we see 2 of the best punches of the fight. A beautiful right hand by Miguel Cotto, and then a few seconds later you're going to see him come back and land a beautiful left hook. Both very clean punches, but I don't think either one seriously hurt Margarito.
Margarito says that Cotto punches like a girl, quote unquote. Of course, they spent a lot of time insulting each other in the build-up to this fight, and whenever the insults start to fly, there's a lot of hyperbole there. You heard Robert Garcia between rounds saying to Margarito, you're chasing him, cut off the ring. Margarito's got a much better chance of trapping Miguel Cotto against the ropes if he stops chasing and starts cutting off. 1, 2, 3. Another thing that Garcia said between rounds is throw your right hand. Margarito smiling now as he got in the body shot with the right hand to Cotto.
And in Cotto's corner, you heard them want Cotto to lock him up when he gets a little too aggressive. Margarito gets too aggressive.
Cotto's back touched the ropes, but he got away, and now he scores twice more with a left and a right. And he scores again with a left and a right. And he throws a couple of good jabs, and Margarito's grinning. But the bottom line is, he's trying to say to Cotto, your punches are not hurting me, they're not impacting me. What they are doing is scoring.
In the first fight,
and there's blood in Margarito's right eye.
There is, and Cotto said he would target it.
Margarito's right eye is already showing blood.
In their first fight, Margarito was landing a lot of good short body shots early in the fight. I haven't seen them so far tonight.
Now, just to remind you, the eye which is bleeding is the eye that Manny Pacquiao beat to a bloody pulp, the eye which was operated on by Dr. Crandall in Salt Lake City, the eye which was the subject of the question of whether Margarito would be licensed. And Cotto has brought blood. And Margarito feels a sense of urgency, perhaps sensing that the fight could be shortened by his eye. And now it's Margarito who's against the ropes, but fighting off the ropes. And Cotto's attacking him because he wants to keep taking advantage of that eye.
And he's giving Margarito chances on the inside here.
It's a fight. Good left hook by Cotto.
But Cotto's fighting as though he doesn't have the same fear of Margarito's punches in their first fight.
Margarito grinning like a jack-o'-lantern as Cotto tries to do surgery on his face. That's what Diaz wanted Cotto to do. Lock up and push it back.
He needs to stand and try to force Margarito back. I still think he's winning the fight, but Margarito's confidence is building as the fight goes on.
And Margarito has enough power still, with no loaded wraps, to have hurt Manny Pacquiao in the body in their fight.
Several times. Cotto blocking those shots and locking up with Margarito and pushing back at the end of the round. But the big moment in that round was a left hook from Cotto that has opened up Tony Margarito's right eye.
How are you feeling? How's the eye? Good? Good. Okay, you got him now. It's just 3 rounds. We're going into the 4th. Get in close and work the body a lot. Work a lot the body and work the uppercuts. Body and uppercuts, okay? Cut the ring.
Sigue dándole vuelta, míralo, sigue dándole vuelta y lo golpea el largo. ¿Ok? Vamos allá, campeón, vamos. ¿Cómo decías? Pero vamos ahora con Luis.
There we see the punch that I think that cut Margarito's eye. I think it was a jab right there. I don't think it was from a hook. I think it was that jab right there that did the damage.
You are correct.
And caused the cut.
What a round. They both landed 23 power shots. Margarito threw 99 punches in the round, only landed at 22% connect rate. Both landed 23 power shots, as I mentioned, and Cotto landed at a 49% connect rate in the round. Harold, how do you have it through 3?
Look at you, 3-0, 30-27, Miguel Cotto. Jim, you judge a fight based on who's doing more damage, and in 3 rounds, Miguel Cotto is doing more damage. Now, just just like in the first fight, he circles to the left all the time. Drives me crazy because all Margarito's got to do is take a step to the right, and he's got to cut off. But Margarito doesn't do that. He follows him, he chases him, he doesn't cut off the ring. 3-0, Miguel Cotto.
Good uppercut and a left hook by Cotto. He's been precise and sharp in this round. Tony Margarito has been reaching for him, but hasn't found him. Cotto counter-punching, and effectively so. Margarito trying to corner him against the ropes. Cotto coming closer to getting trapped, but getting away again. And now, as that eye story develops, a couple of notes. Steve Smoger is a referee who is known for allowing fights to go on, allowing fighters to take punishment, giving them the chance to come back. He's not a quick stoppage guy, but he will be consulting with doctors throughout the fight. And the New York State Athletic Commission has reportedly brought in an extra doctor, an eye surgeon, and that eye surgeon is at ringside for the specific purpose of monitoring Antonio Margarito's right eye. So he's already got something to look at, as Cotto has done the damage he wanted to do early.
And here you see Cotto just did something he didn't do in the first fight, which is use his leverage as the shorter fighter to push the taller guy back.
He ate a couple of uppercuts there, though. That's the punch that hurt him so much the first time around. Cotto lands another left hook. Tony Margarito coming forward, firing that uppercut with the left hand.
Turning more into a Margarito-style fight, Emmanuel.
The fight is moving pretty much along the same pattern of the first fight to me. For the most part, Miguel's landing great shots, but Margarito's putting a lot of pressure on him. Even though Miguel is landing a clean, effective shot, just looks like Margarito's mentally stronger in the fight. And his confidence is growing each round, even though he's losing the fight.
But it doesn't look as though his punches are having the same effect on Cotto as they did in the first fight. And Cotto seems to be having more of an effect on Margarito to me.
Well, Cotto's a better puncher. I mean, right there, I'm still looking at Miguel can land that powerful left hook. He could change this fight completely. But he's once again punching and moving away at the end of his punches like he did in the first fight.
Manny Pacquiao hammered Tony Margarito, functionally blind in the right eye in their fight. Cotto wants to do the same thing here. Round 4 was another one in which Cotto landed the cleaner punches. There's Michel Margarito.
That's 4.
No le dé ningún pinche segundo de respirar.
Don't give him a second to breathe. Okay, let's go, Tony. Look for the body here in the uppercuts. 2, 3 uppercuts.
Okay? Hágame caso, hágalo bien, okay?
Vamos allá, campeón, cojones.
Melissa Cotto. Earlier you saw Michel Margarito. Two women who stand by their men.
Walk him, turn him. He can't handle you. Turn him around. Turn him around, you can do it. You're boxing. Let's go.
CompuBox numbers in the fourth. Cotto 21 out of 57, that's 37%. Margarito 22 out of 95, that's 23%. These numbers are shaping up extremely similarly to what happened in the first fight.
And Margarito defiantly, earlier in the fight, already gestured to his cut eye as though to say, hey, you said you'd make this the target. Come on, make it a target. Makes no difference to me.
Well, he's Mr. Defiance at this point in his career.
What's interesting is, even though Margarito's eye is cut, it seems like his eye is semi-closed or whatever. It doesn't seem like he has full vision out of that right eye.
Why do you say that, Emmanuel?
I'm just looking at it. It looks like it's kind of closed or whatever. It just seems like it's not fully open as much as the left eye is.
Which could make it easier and easier for Cotto to land his left hand.
Yes, and Miguel is fighting a good fight if he can just continue to be in good shape and make it through 12 rounds at this pace.
Those are good, clean shots by Cotto. Margarito hasn't yet found a way to consistently cut off the ring.
No, Miguel is turning, pivoting, changing direction, fighting
and
very
sometimes
smart
going
fight.
right instead of left, which is something he didn't do in the first fight.
Margarito landed moments ago one of those good short left uppercuts from the first fight that had such devastating effects, especially late in the fight.
Well, if they don't have the same devastating effect tonight, you know what Cotto's going to say about that afterwards.
That's what we're all looking for. What effect will Margarito's punches have on Cotto tonight? Cotto doing a lot of moving this round.
Now stands his ground, fires a three-punch combination. Margarito shakes his head, which really means you landed. Look at Cotto pushing Margarito back again. This is something he never did in the first fight.
And you know what? Cotto's face for the first time to me seems to be a little telltale in terms of the fact that he's been in a fight.
But also his facial expression is starting to show a little distress also.
Yes. Really giving ground this round. Though still landing the cleaner shots.
It's okay to give ground if you win the round. But on the other hand, the overall psychology of the fight is important. Margarito's now yelling at Cotto.
And Cotto's bouncing straight back on his toes.
Cotto's response to Margarito yelling is to try to land the combination.
Just look at the speed at which Margarito's now coming forward. It's non-stop forward aggression, just like the first fight.
Very much so.
Cotto's got to put something on him to stop him.
As I said earlier, Margarito has no respect for Miguel, even though Miguel is one of the best punchers I have ever trained. For whatever reason, Margarito has no respect for his punching power.
Cotto digs in with one of those hooks to the body he used to throw. He could change that maybe, Emmanuel.
Yes.
Respirando, mi Tony.
Breathe, Tony.
¿Cómo sientes, mi Tony?
How are you doing? Good?
¿Sí?
Good?
Ok,
Good.
mira, todas las veces se te está yendo
Listen,
por tu lado
he's going,
derecho.
he keeps going off to your right, okay?
Quiero que le tape más,
You
mi
need to
Tony,
block him
¿ok?
off.
Quiero que le tape más para ese lado, con la pinche derecha, búsqueme más derecha.
Ahora cuando tú te vas a subir, míralo.
Now you
Dale
gotta
vuelta.
build.
Cuando
Look at him.
cuando entra
Turn
la
him.
vuelta, lo agarra y te vira y te pone
When he comes
atrás
in, you
de
turn
él.
him,
Atrás
and
de
you
él.
get behind
Igual
him.
le quita la mano antes.
Let's take a look at what has happened to Tony Margarito's right eye in the last 3 rounds from the moment at which Margarito's eye began to show blood. Here are a series of punches that Cotto has landed trying to get at Margarito's right eye. That hurts. That hurts.
Especially when that eye has been broken before.
Power shots in the 5th round. Cotto 16 out of 29. Margarito 15 out of 36. And Harold Letterman disagrees with me as he has given the 5th round to Margarito.
You could see from that last replay, it sure looked like Margarito couldn't see out of the right eye because when he was leading with the right hand, Emmanuel, it looked like he didn't know where Cotto was. Why doesn't Cotto go to Margarito's body, Emmanuel? He doesn't want to bend and face the uppercut? What is it?
I don't understand either, but that's his best punch. His left hook, his left hook to the body out to the head is tremendous, but he's punching, but he's moving back as soon as he lands his punches now. And Margarito is behind on points, but definitely it's closing the gap now as the fight moves into the second half.
There goes those short Margarito uppercuts on the inside.
2 more shots to Margarito's right eye, though, by Cotto's left hand. It's a weird transformation in Cotto's career. 4 years ago, he was the best body left hooker in boxing. Now he seems almost never to throw that punch. Another left hook to the eye. That one was on the jaw.
I can't think of a better punch to slow a guy down.
Well, I've always said, you want to give me one weapon to take into my next life, make it a good left hook to the body. It'll win more fights than any other punch.
You know, Miguel Cotto's skin has always busted up in most fights. And the 2 fights I was with him, he didn't get any sweat on the cuts, but for the most part, he swells very easy in his facial tissues also. You got to look at him possibly swelling as the fight goes on, and Margarito's beginning to land some punches.
Margarito doing a heck of a job of holding Tony Margarito's right arm there away from Steve Smoger. He was a little short with the big power shot he tried when he let Margarito go.
Cotto's spitting blood, and Margarito landed two devastating body punches to Cotto's midsection, really getting leverage on those shots with Cotto's back to the rope.
Margarito's putting on pressure, but he hasn't landed any effective punches. He's been very ineffective at landing clean blows.
To the head.
To the head, really. For the most, to the body, even much more. He's just making Miguel burn himself out for the most part.
A lot of pressure from Margarito.
There's also a lot of blood coming from his face. So he'd better pressure.
Now look how fast Cotto has to retreat.
How are you, Tony? Good? He's hitting and he goes. You've got to block him. Block him, go in and work. Work the body a lot in the uppercuts.
Punch zone numbers show you. So far in the fight, 52 punches have been landed in the area of Margarito's right eye. 35 to the other side of the head, 32 on the chin, 15 to the body. It's obvious where the target is for Miguel Cotto.
I want to see more, Tony. I want to see more. Let's go, my Tony.
Igual, dándole vuelta todo el tiempo. No, si cae en medio y corta, métele el candado y lo ala. No importa, lo ala, lo agarra, no lo deje trabajar ahí. Esa distancia no es la tuya. La tuya es media blanca dándole vuelta. Saca de los ojos. 1 y 5. 1 y 5. 1 y 8 fuerte.
CompuBox total numbers through 6.
He's here. 1, 2, and finish off with the 5 on top.
Cotto 134 out of 333. Margarito 102 out of 450. That right eye's closed, Emmanuel.
Yes.
Harold, how do you have it through 6?
Look at you, 59-55, 5 rounds to 1, Miguel Cotto. To the purists in boxing who ask, can you win a fight running away? The answer is Miguel Cotto is winning this fight running away. Because, Jim, he's running. I mean, I gotta say it, he's running, but he's winning the fight. Stopping, landing clean, hard, effective shots. Antonio Margarito, just like Emmanuel said, he's not really landing those clean, hard, effective shots that Miguel Cotto is. Cotto's landed the shots that win rounds. 5 to 1, Miguel Cotto.
This is where the fight turned the first time, guys. 7th round.
Hard right hand by Margarito.
Yep, same kind of
shot
shots.
of the night.
Left uppercut.
Best shot of the night for Margarito.
Same kind of shots. Little left uppercuts, straight right hands.
Good left by Cotto. 3-punch combination. Finished with a left hook in the area of the eye. Body shot by Margarito. Cotto again. Retreating, moving. This time moving to his right. Got a little left hand in. Right and the left. Blood from Margarito's mouth. The right eye is closed.
Now Margarito's putting so much pressure on Miguel, it's getting to the point where Miguel is on the borderline of boxing good, almost making him run. And that's exactly what Margarito wanted.
But since Margarito's fast start to the round, it's Cotto landing all the clean punches.
Yes, he's definitely winning. He's winning the fight. There's no question about that.
Do you score a round for a guy just because he's pressuring? If the other guy
No, it's not, because you're looking further on down the round, about 2 or 3 more rounds like this.
Another hard left hook against Margarito's eye. And Margarito's face is becoming a bloody mass. At this point in the last fight, it was Cotto's face that was starting to break up.
Yes.
see Cotto's been in a fight.
And once again, he buys time by pushing Margarito
That's what
against the rope.
he needs to do. Need to be physical every chance he gets.
That's the big change from what he did last time. And Cotto gets in a right hand right after the bell, for which Smoger is going to go talk to him. Melissa Cotto like that.
Bueno, Tony, estás tirando
I'm good,
arriba y
okay,
te está
Tony.
haciendo fallar.
You're throwing up
Empiece
top
con
and
los
he's
de
making you
abajo,
miss.
Tony.
Start at the
¿Ok?
bottom, Tony.
Empiece con los de abajo.
Start at the bottom, Tony. Start with the bottom punches.
Tell him to open his eyes.
Mira aquí. ¿Me puedes mirar? ¿Cuántos dices el tema? ¿Cuántos?
Son dos.
Hold this.
¿Cuántos? Tres.
Ok, pinche Tony. Tiene que arrimársele más.
Early in the round, you see for the first time, Margarito started to land some effective blows with nice right hand between the gloves here, and followed up with a left uppercut, which was his most effective punch in the first fight. Later in the round, you saw him coming in, and Miguel catching him like he's been doing for most of the fight and moving away.
But because he was moving away, more of an arm punch, right, Emmanuel?
Yes, he's not getting full power, but he's got to at this stage. Margarito's put a lot of pressure on him.
Cotto 24 out of 48, 50%. Margarito 18 out of 79, 23%. Cotto landed 13 of 28 jabs in the round, more than half of his power shots in the round. Accurate punching by Cotto, and his accuracy's going up now as Margarito's eye stays closed. Cotto finally threw a left hook to the body.
I think he is doing a better job blocking Margarito's uppercut from time to time.
He's doing a great job of blocking uppercuts. And he's not staying in any stationary position for Margarito can line him up for any clean punches. He's steadily moving the whole fight, which is very good.
You know, but Mosley, because he was fighting more aggressively than Cotto, was able to knock Margarito out, Emmanuel.
Well, that was just a different time, different situation all the way around, I think. And Mosley fought one of the best fights of his life, and Margarito came in that ring that night just totally frustrated, confused, and exposed, as we say to some degree, and without his weapon.
Mosley with considerably quicker hands than Cotto, a much more dynamic combination puncher, a different kind of fighter. Faster on his feet also. The tape discrepancy buys time for Cotto. That probably helps him at this point.
Take your time, time out. Very good. Time in, time in.
Margarito hadn't been able to find Cotto this round.
No, it's only landed just the punches the other round. The first time he landed two punches.
Smoger's doing his usual non-intrusive job.
Good.
Talking to the fighters, watching the fighters, but not doing much to get in their way. Good combination by Cotto. Hits Margarito in the right eye again.
Margarito cannot find a clear target yet. He's moving in, punching, but not landing anything, just applying pressure.
And Cotto's face has not exploded as it did against Margarito the first time. Yet
So
we're seeing why, if Margarito did have loaded wraps against Cotto, why it was such a particularly devastating weapon for a guy like Margarito. You see some of the qualities that made him successful. Dogged determination.
This is when Miguel should load up on some shots right there in that position. This is when he's the most effective.
He landed a little left hook and a right hand over the top while Cotto was digging to his body. Excuse me, Margarito was digging to his body. Margarito still stalking. Cotto stands his ground and rips him with a left hook to the chin. Although the geography of the fight is very similar to the first fight, it is not the same fight.
Tranquilo, ven a mí,
Give me your legs, let me work.
Igual.
The same thing.
Dándole vuelta. Cuando
Turn
venga
him.
vuelta, no cambies con él.
Don't
Mata el
interchange.
candado, te pasa al
Lock
lado.
him up and turn him
Y
off
lo
the
baja,
side.
te pone atrás él,
And you
atrás
go
él.
behind them.
No le quita la mano adelante. El 1, el 5,
Quiero ver más en este round, Tony, ¿ok?
I want more in this round, Tony, please. I want more, yes. I want more. Get in close.
Eso entiendes, ¿ok?
You get in,
Esto lo
throw.
puedes conectar. Abajo, opes, abajo,
Down,
opes,
upper,
ganchos y opes.
the body and uppercut
Combínemelos,
hooks and
no más
uppercut
golpe.
combinations.
Busca
Not just
más,
one punch, just
¿ok?
look for more.
Corten el ring y
Cut the
péguesele.
ring, get in.
Si no, Tony,
This is a far different Cotto family scene than was the case at this stage of the last fight. They were cringing in Las Vegas. They're celebrating here.
No, let him look, let him fight. Yeah, Cotto back, let him fight. Let him fight, let him fight. Miguel, aquí.
Now they're going to
Time
fight.
in.
The doctor allowed Margarito to keep going forward. For a moment there, it wasn't certain.
Say whatever you want about Margarito, and I just said his punches for some reason not as effective tonight as they were the first time, but this guy's got a ton of heart.
Well, Miguel is moving, and by this time he was starting to stay in the ropes more the first fight. He's steadily moving and changing directions. Margarito cannot get a stationary target to punch at.
Margarito's willing to sacrifice his health, obviously, to try to win a fight. He never stops coming.
No.
Guys, remember in the first fight how Cotto seemed to want the fight to be over and Margarito couldn't wait to come out for each round? I think that's changed.
Remember the first fight when they had those kinds of exchanges?
This is where Miguel should punch. He should bend forward, get his leverage, and load up with those wicked left hooks to the body and to the head.
No, I got you. Very good, muy bien.
Margarito's had a couple moments in this round, but again, with his eye closed, it seems to be becoming harder and harder for him to find the target.
Margarito told me he was willing to die to win a fight. Cotto said, no, I'm not. And that's one of maybe Cotto's advantages here. Margarito's eye was so damaged against Pacquiao, as soon as Cotto started to hit it, it started to close. Cotto didn't sustain the same kind of damage against Pacquiao because he knew when to throw in the towel.
Body shots and a left hook upstairs from Cotto. And another left hook. He's fighting a far different fight now than he was fighting in round 9 of the first fight. Pushing Margarito into the ropes.
This is where he should fight, right here.
This is a new dynamic.
Yeah, because Margarito cannot punch that effective with short punches as compared to Miguel.
Another ripped left hook for Cotto. Margarito's punches just don't have the same sledgehammer impact that they had in Las Vegas. Good left by Cotto.
Again, Cotto is a shorter man using his leverage to push Margarito back.
A brilliant tactic. Puerto Ricans come to their feet as Cotto hammers Margarito with another left to the eye.
No golpe. Timbra.
We're 3/4 of the way through.
Henswell, quickly.
Ya lo lleva, Tony.
Come on, Tony, you have it.
Entonces vamos.
He's mine, the guy's mine.
This was the best round,
Let's
guys.
go.
Give us a chance.
Get that swelling down.
That was the best. Dale. It's good. Vale.
Yeah, with Pacquiao was worse.
Give us one round. That was the best round. That was the best round.
Everything's good. One more.
Doctor, you stopping it? Doc. Doc. Stop it. That's it. He's telling me to stop it. I think he's been telling me. I know. I wish I could keep it.
I'm good. I'm good.
Stop it, Doc. Is that stop it? Barry said to stop it.
It's over. It's over, and revenge is sweet. The thudding impact that took Miguel Cotto out in Las Vegas was in no way apparent tonight.
No, there was no way. Margarito couldn't find a good clear target at all in the entire fight.
And even when he did find the target, Emmanuel, his punches weren't as hard.
No, it was not as hard. And, I think the New York Commission is very concerned about the eye injury going into the fight. I think if it had been a normal fight, whereas the boxer didn't come in with already big injury and so much publicity had been surrounded about that eye injury, he probably would have let him fight with one eye. But in this case, sure, I think they didn't want to take the risk.
Dr. Barry Jordan is one of the most authoritative medical practitioners in the sport. He's the one who gave Steve Smoger the signal, which was a hand across the throat. In other words, cut it off. And that's the end of the fight. And Miguel Cotto has the technical knockout victory, which for him is sweet revenge.
Great performance tonight. He fought very smart, moved, stayed out of the way, was in good shape. But at the time of the stoppage, Margarito was having his best round. Even though I think he lost, he was applying a lot of pressure, and Miguel was starting to seem to wilt a little bit. But I don't know if that would have been enough still going down the stretch.
Well, we'll check later to see what the scorecards were, but let's go to Michael Buffer for the particulars on the TKO.
Ladies and gentlemen, the fight comes to an end. Referee Steve Smoger calls a halt, acting on the advice of the physician at ringside. It ends after 10 rounds. The winner by TKO victory. And still, WBA Super Welterweight Champion of the World, El Boricua de Puerto Rico, Miguel Ángel Cotto.
21,215 New York fans bought tickets to this fight. The overwhelming majority were Puerto Ricans backing Miguel Cotto. They wanted revenge for what happened in Vegas 3 years ago. And because of the damage to Antonio Margarito's right eye provided by Manny Pacquiao, Miguel Cotto was able to create the swelling and the blood early in the fight that ultimately debilitated Margarito. Final CompuBox numbers, Cotto dominated, landing 53 more, throwing 207 less, landing at exactly the same connect percentage as in the first fight, 43%, identical to what he did in the first fight. Power shots, Cotto landed 51% of his power shots, one thing we've constantly told you over the years, a CompuBox barometer. If you land more than half your power shots, you're gonna win the fight. Cotto also was better in the jab category. That's to be expected. He's a better jabber than Margarito, whose jab is slow and somewhat lazy. Tony was throwing a lot of them, but mostly as rangefinders and couldn't find the target. Punch zone, and the big number there is 86. Miguel Cotto, 86th. Tony Margarito's right eye, and that's how he won the fight. Max Kellerman is standing by now in the ring with the winner.
Miguel, you got your revenge. How does it feel?
Good, I made my work. I won the fight. And thanks to all the crowd here. Thanks a lot. I love you.
After the fight was stopped, you went to Margarito's corner and stared at him for what seemed like quite a while. Why?
Just to look at him. you know, and taste my victory on him.
What were you saying to him when you were trying to get to him in the corner moments ago?
I just trying to pick my people from there and bring him to my corner. I don't have to say anything to him.
You're known as a very good sportsman. Usually after fights, we see you embrace your opponent. How do you feel about Antonio Margarito right now after that fight?
He means nothing to me. I'm here with all my crowd, with all my people, and like I told you before, he means really nothing for me.
Miguel, what's next for you, having now defeated Margarito in a fair fight in the rematch?
I think I earned a really good resting session, and then in a couple of weeks, we can talk about boxing.
Congratulations, champ.
Thank you.
Antonio, what were they telling you in the corner before they stopped the fight?
Bueno, me están revisando mi ojo, me pusieron los dedos y yo supe cuántos eran. Sabía que de una forma lo iban a proteger, porque sabía que este round para acá eran los más duros para él.
We were in the corner and they were asking me about my eye, but I told them how many numbers they had up. But I knew that from here on, they were out to protect him because I was building.
In the first fight, around the 6th or 7th round, your punches seemed to really hurt him. It didn't seem that way in this fight. How did you feel about the way the second half of this fight was going?
No. Creo que sí lo lastimé. Vean cómo quedó también. Y lo sigo diciendo, pega como niña. Dice su mamá que no hubiera tenido una niña porque no pega, en verdad no pega. El ojo me lo lastimó por los tallones.
I heard him. Look at his face. But I keep saying it again. He hits like a girl. That's it. Look at my head. Just touch me. That was it. It was just my glance.
In the last round, in the 9th round, it did seem that his punches were having more of an effect on you, rocking you back a little bit. We've never seen you fight him with your back on the ropes. He pushed you to the ropes. You never felt the punches?
No, nunca sentí los golpes y no luchó para atrás. Él estuvo siempre para atrás. Si era acaso di el paso lateral y me fui para la cuerda, pero no que me haya lastimado.
I never felt the punches, and I was never pulling back. He was the one pulling back. If anything, I would go to the sides, but that was it. He's the one.
Thanks for a tough fight, Antonio. Doctor, you're the doctor who made the decision to stop the fight.
That's correct, yes.
Why did you make the decision to stop the fight?
Well, his eye was gradually closing throughout the fight. It came to the point where there's no vision at all coming out of that eye. So between the bleeding and the lid being closed, I felt it was safer for him to stop the fight.
But he was still being aggressive. He was still throwing punches. He never seemed out on his feet. And we've seen many fighters fight with their vision impaired. Did your stoppage have anything to do with the fact that coming into the fight there was concern about that eye?
Well, you always have that in the back of your head. However, his lid was closed completely for almost 3 rounds. His vision was going down for the last 3 rounds. And finally, at the end, he had no vision in that eye, which means he has no peripheral vision as well. And I think it would have been dangerous for him to go back in the ring without a visual field.
Is part of your concern at that moment, or your thought process, does it have anything to do, is it affected at all by the fact that the conclusion wouldn't be as satisfying for many fans were you to stop the fight because of that?
Well, I didn't stop the fight because early, I mean, the fight did go on quite a while, as you could see. So I think he did go quite a bit with the eye impaired.
Thank you, Doctor.
You're welcome.
A little while later, both winner and loser returned to their respective dressing rooms.
Besides, guys, we got a coward, bitch. Damn, Cotto, we need another fight. There has to be a third fight. The people aren't happy. The doctor's waiting. Yeah. That's the way.
¿Qué pasa?
Tell come in, yeah.
You look up. I'm okay.
No problema, caballero.
The loss to Cotto would be the last fight of Antonio Margarito's career, as he was forced into retirement due to complications from the serious eye injury on vivid display throughout much of the bout. As for Miguel Cotto, he was able to avenge the loss that had haunted him for 3.5 years, and the victory led to a lucrative and competitive decision loss to Floyd Mayweather. The loss to Mayweather and a subsequent decision loss to Austin Trout ultimately led Cotto to hire Freddie Roach as his new head trainer, and the early returns on their union were spectacular, as Cotto appeared entirely rejuvenated last summer in a dominant third-round knockout of Delvin Rodriguez. Next up for Cotto, he returns to a familiar venue to challenge a powerful and experienced middleweight champion in Sergio Martinez. Join us June 7, HBO pay-per-view from Madison Square Garden to catch all the action in Cotto versus Martinez. I'm Jim Lampley. Thanks for being with us.